Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. It's time to rally up, fellow Reds. Liverpool have a mountain to climb with this fixture as Liverpool face Atalanta in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. As we all know, we conceded 3 goals, which obviously took everyone by surprise. The chances are very slim for Liverpool to excel into the semi-finals, but history tells us that if one team is capable of doing the unthinkable, it's the Liverpool Football Club. So let's discuss our opponents and see what they've done since they beat us last week. So unfortunately for Atalanta, they weren't able to take their fortune into Serie A as they drew 2-2 against Hellas Verona, despite being 2-0 up. So there's certainly some cracks in the Atalanta defense that Liverpool could exploit. Liverpool, on the other hand, weren't able to recapture their goal-scoring touch either, as they lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace. So both teams aren't in best of forms, but who will step out in the quarter-final and take the game by the scruff of the neck? We'll soon find out tomorrow evening. But until then, let's present the team news, see who's available, and predict the lineups for both teams. So in regards to Atalanta, as it stands, it's Giorgio Scalvini. He is the only absentee in the squad. Former Arsenal player Sead Kolasinac was unable to feature last week in the first leg due to an adductor problem, but it looks like he could feature in this fixture as he was on the bench in the league match over the weekend. With regards to Liverpool, Conor Bradley unfortunately is out for this fixture due to an ankle injury. But good news, he's only out for 2 to 3 weeks, which is not as bad as first feared. Trent Alexander-Arnold should be available to start for this fixture, and Stefan Bajcetic returned to action for the under-21s last week, so he could also feature in this game. So let's present the lineups, and then we can take it from there. So let's start with the home team, which is Atalanta. There we go. So in terms of their personnel, I don't think there'll be a huge surprise because they pretty much have a fully fit squad. So for me, the goalkeeper is going to be Musso, who actually had a good game last week. So Musso goes in goal. And then you have Darun, who is traditionally a centre midfielder, but will probably play in this left side centre back role due to Kolasinac's absence. He may feature in the game, but I don't think he'll start. So I'm going to stick with Darun to play in the heart of the defense. And then you've got Hien, who will be out. Gimisiti, who played last week as well. So if I can spell his name. So let's see. There we go. Gimisiti. So that is the midfield. I think it's going to be the same in terms of personnel. So Costa on the right hand side, if his name loads up for us. Sap Costa, there you go. For some reason his face is not appearing. There we go. And then you have Ruggieri on the left side. He was decent as well, to be fair. And then we have Palasic, who, yes, he was definitely one player that caused havoc. Scoring a lot of goals. Not sure why he's not coming up. Let me just search for Atalanta players. Atalanta. Why is he not coming up? Unless I spelled his name wrong. Let me check to see how you spell his name. There we go. Let's search his name there. There we go. That's because I don't have those icons on his name. So there he is in the middle, and then it's Ederson alongside him, who was pretty much very box to box in the last fixture. So yeah, a strong midfield, to be fair. The wing backs certainly made their presence felt, and this player as well for me was really good in the last game as well. Should have probably been on the score sheet in my opinion, but nevertheless was very, very dangerous in front of goal. So that's Coop Miners. He will play that number 10 role. And in terms of up top, it's definitely Skamaka. I think that goes without saying. He was a menace for us, and I don't think Konate was able to handle Skamaka anytime during the game. So yeah, for me, had a very good game and showed his scoring ability as well, which I knew before he was a West Ham player. Didn't work out in the Premier League, but he's continued and discovered his form once again, being back in Italy now. So that's Skamaka there. So alongside it could be Lookman. I think it's going to be De Catalara again. I think he was very good against us. So I expect the manager to keep the same team. So this is my predicted lineup for Atalanta. No huge surprise. It's pretty much the same team as last week in the first leg. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If there's going to be a change, it'd probably be Kolasinac comes in, but he could play in that central position instead of Hien, or it could be where Darun goes into midfield, so we Pasalic and Darun, and then you've got Kolasinac on the left, and then you've got Hien, and then Gimisti as well. So for me, I think this will be the predicted lineup for our opponents. So let's remove the graphic and let's discuss Liverpool. So let's bring up the Liverpool team. So as we all know, guys, 4-3-3, that is the go-to formation for our team. So in goal, Alisson is back. So I don't expect there to be any rotation because Alisson has been out for quite a while. So for me, he will start this fixture and it won't be Kelleher. Kelleher for me was quite disappointing last week. So for me, it's very, very important that he is available for this fixture. And then we have, who do you have in the left back position? So I'm going to go with Robertson. I thought he had a decent game last time. And I feel like we will need that natural width on the left-hand side because that's where the creativity will come from. So I think he definitely starts in this fixture. And on the other side, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Conor Bradley is not available. Even if he was, I probably still would have gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold ahead of him. His passing is going to be key in terms of unlocking this Atalanta defense. So for me, he's going to have a very, very big role in how we play in this fixture. So the obvious one is Van Dijk. He definitely goes. Now, this is the one I'm debating in my head because Kwanzaa, whenever he's performed in the Europa League, for me, has always been solid. And it's probably the reason why he's developed so fast this year in terms of his involvement in the team. A lot of us wouldn't have expected Kwanzaa to play so many games the way he has so far. So for me, he's really developed into a very, very polished up defender. Obviously, he's still young, so he's going to make a few mistakes here and there, but he's so composed. For me, he's above his age in terms of how he plays the game. So a very, very key player for us in the squad, and he will be, I would say, a long-term defender in our team going forward. So Konate, on the other hand, for me, is the solid defender, but he has been in poor form recently. So do I go for someone that's reliable in Kwanzaa, or do I go for Konate, who's more experienced, who's the better player, but has been in low form recently? I'm actually going to give the nod to Kwanzaa. I think he would be my preferred choice. If Konate starts, it's not going to be a huge surprise. But if you ask me, I'd prefer Kwanzaa to be in that back line. I think he will provide that solid defense that we need, and it allows both of our fullbacks to go forward, and he can cover that on his right side, and then Van Dijk can cover the left side. So I think this will add more balance right now, whereas Konate has been a bit all over the place, in my opinion. So this would be the back four that I go for. I have been debating with myself. So Endo has been in really poor form in the last 2 games as well. So the question is, do we put McAllister in a number 6, which some people like, some people don't. I don't mind him in that number 6, but because I've seen him play as a right-sided 8 or even as a left-sided 8, it's just the role I prefer to see McAllister occupy. So going to slightly backtrack what I just said in terms of my selection between Konate and Kwanzaa, because I've gone for the player who's more reliable, whereas Konate is the better player currently, but he's out of form, so I haven't selected him. But in this regard, I might still start with Endo on the basis we don't have too many number 6s available, and I want McAllister to play in this game and play a bit more further up. So I'm going to go with Endo, but if he has a poor first half, then we got to switch up at halftime. So that's sounds harsh. That's not the condition I want to give Endo, but this game is very, very important for us to make any sort of changes in terms of the outcome. So for me, Endo will start in this fixture. So that would suggest that Szoboszlai for me starts on the left side of the midfield, number 8 position, and it will be McAllister on the other side. So for me, that would be the midfield that possesses the best quality. And if Endo is able to rediscover some of his good form, it would be the perfect balance to our midfield. So this would be the midfield that I go for. Elliott was very close for me in terms of being selected, but I thought if we need a player to come on the pitch and have an impact on the game, it's Harvey Elliott. I don't really see Jones doing that as much. So for me, Jones will be available and will take some part in the game. But for me, it'll be Elliott that comes into the pitch first ahead of Jones, in my opinion. So that's why I've left him on the bench, because I think his impact will be quite useful for us. Whether we're winning, losing, trailing, whatever the situation is, he will bring something to the table in this match. So for me, that's why I've started him on the bench. But for me, he does actually deserve to start in some shape or form. Maybe the Fulham game is the one where I feel like he gets to start that fixture, but we will talk about that in due course. Now, in terms of the front three, Mohamed Salah on the right-hand side, obviously not much competition there. And yes, he hasn't been in great form recently. That goes without saying. But he's still one of our lethal finishers in the squad. And I think this Salah that currently we're seeing, he doesn't need to be active in terms of the build-up play. He's pretty much the killer in front of goal, and that's what we need. So in this match, I don't really care in terms of how many touches he's done or how many passes he's done. If he's taking up good positions and scoring goals, that's what we want from him. That's what we want in the end of actually winning this fixture. So for me, that is more important. In terms of up top, actually, do you know what? Let's go on the left, because I think up top is going to be quite debatable. So for me, I give the nod to Diaz, who for me has been probably our best attacker in 2024. Huge statement. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. I feel like he has. I think he's been more impactful. There has been some games where he hasn't scored as many goals as we'd like. He's probably missed quite a few chances, but I feel like he's that one player that keeps trying, that keeps attacking that byline, stretches the defense, and really gives that X factor for us in terms of the wide areas and up top as well. So for me, he's been very consistent in recent weeks and has always troubled the opposition. So for me, a live wire that we need in the team, because if he wasn't there, we'd lack speed around the channels, and unfortunately that could reduce our sort of output in terms of counter attacks. So he's very, very important in terms of how we set up tactically. Up top, it's between 3 players, so it's a tricky one. So everyone kind of has a case. So let's start with, who can we start with? Let's start with Darwin Núñez. So Darwin Núñez is probably the preferred choice up top due to what he brings to the table. So Captain Chaos, whatever you want to call him by his nickname, he troubles the opposition in terms of his movement, his speed. He attacks the channels, and he can be quite unpredictable, which is sometimes a good thing and a bad thing. So he's got enough credit in the bank to suggest that he could start in a fixture. due to a number of goals that he scored in the Europa League. Jota, a player that's just returned from injury, hasn't started a game, so maybe if you give him a start, it might boost his confidence a little bit in front of goal, because he's been quite snappy in the last couple of games, so he hasn't really shown that killer instinct that we're used to seeing. We all call him Jota the Shotter, or refer to him as a gunman. He hasn't really done that in recent weeks, but he could potentially start in this game. And then you've got Gakpo, who has been under fire amongst some sections of the fan base, who have questioned his quality as a player, whether he plays on the left or as an attacker in the middle. But in the last 2 weeks, I feel like he's really picked up form. He's shown good quality whenever he's come off the bench. And I feel like he's actually playing with a lot of aggression and urgency, which is something I requested for a few weeks ago. Not like he listens to me, but the thing is that it's probably come from the coaching staff, and he's definitely taking that advice on board and he's putting it into his game. So you have to credit someone who's learning from instructions that's given to him, and he's definitely trying to elevate his own game. So for me, in this game, drop a comment, let me know who you would start. I'm going for Gakpo. And that is on the basis that we will have Jota and Nunes from the bench. And I think those two players will be better off the bench as impact players rather than Gakpo. So Nunes can easily play on the left side if we need pace and directness. And you've got Jota, who is fantastic around the 6-yard box. So that's two lethal attackers for us to play in this game. So we've got our 5 attackers available, which has been a long time coming. So yeah, as long as they're pressing forward and being aggressive in that approach, hopefully we get something from the game. Hopefully we can score early. That's going to be key as well, in my opinion. And yeah, try and be very compact defensively. Don't concede any goals, because if they get that first goal, or even if they get one goal, it will deflate the mood of the team, definitely. And even the crowd will feel that energy as well. So look, it's not going to be an easy task at all. But yeah, drop a comment, guys. Let me know what you think of my team. Do you agree or disagree with it? Love to hear from you guys. Just got a couple comments here from Daz. He says, big up Ozzy, big up Daz. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in as always. And this is his lineup. So great to see Daz's involvement. So Daz has gone for Alisson, Trent, Ibu, Van Dijk, Robertson, McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Jones, Mo, Jota, Diaz. So yeah, it's not exactly like for like, which I appreciate. So he's gone for Ibu instead of Kwanzaa, which is fair enough. Maka as the number 6 instead of Endo, which is fair enough as well, because I think Endo has been poor the last couple of games. But I want to see Maka a bit more further up. So that's just my own preference there. Jones, I've been disappointed with Jones since he's come back from injury. He had that one cameo, he did really well, but after that, he's been really poor. And that miss as well for me the other day. That's the only reason why I'm not selecting him, but I just don't feel like he's quite there yet. So for me, it's better to embed him off the bench rather than starting games. And this is a game of huge magnitude. So I wouldn't have the confidence to play a player that hasn't been in good form recently. So the one I have placed is Endo, but that's due to not having many options. If Bajcetic was fully fit, I'll probably put Bajcetic instead of Endo, but I don't think he is. I think he will be available off the bench, but he's not fit enough to start. So let's see. But in terms of your selection, I completely understand. And you've gone for Jota instead of Gakpo, which is fair as well. For me, it was one of the two. I don't think Nunes deserves to start in this one due to his lack of form recent weeks. So I've gone for Gakpo because I think he's shown better cameos. He's been more positive in his play. And I feel like Jota, despite him just returning from injury, he's not fully fit right now as well. So I feel like he's lacking that edge in front of goal. So I think he'd be better utilized as an impact sub. But hey, we will find out tomorrow who starts. But this is a good headache for Klopp. He's got a lot of players to select from, especially from an attacking point of view and midfield. So yeah, let's see who he goes with in the end. He might stick with Nunes. He might stick with Jones from his previous selection. Who knows? Remains to be seen. But thank you for your comment, Daz. Appreciate it as always. And that's our wrap up for today. So Actually, wait, before I wrap up, score prediction, which is probably what you're waiting for. So, what opinion should I give you? Should I give you what my heart says, or should I tell you what my head is thinking right now? I would love to say we'll do it, but I don't think we will, unfortunately, guys. I'll be shameless if we do. Don't get me wrong, because I'll be doing a match reaction tomorrow. But yeah, I think we'll produce a good performance. I think there will be a reaction from the defeats of last week against Atalanta and Crystal Palace. I think we will see a different team that comes against Atalanta tomorrow, but I think we're going to fall short. So, in terms of my prediction, I'm going for a 2-0 win for Liverpool. So that basically means we're out of the Europa League. It'll be 3-2 on aggregate. So I don't think we'll have enough to go for it, but we'll really give it a try. So if that was a reality, and we lose out of being in the Europa League, but we showed a good fight and players are playing to a better standard, that should be used as a positive light to say, look, use this form, go into the Premier League, focus on the Premier League now, because then we have one competition to focus on. I would love to win the Europa League on the basis that Klopp has never won this trophy as a Liverpool manager. It's the one that's missing right now. So I'm praying that we win this game, but I just don't see it happening. And I have to be realist. I can't, I can't be fake and say, yeah, we're going to smash the guys. Even though, if you look at our history in terms of Atalanta, I believe we played them. I can't remember what it was. I think it was 2020. This was during sort of the pandemic time where we beat them 5-0. So this was the scoreline. So that gives me a bit of hope that maybe we can replicate that scoreline, because it was at Atalanta. It was an away fixture. There was no audience, so that might have played a part. But, you got to take what you can right now. And there's a small glimmer of hope that we could do it. But in terms of my prediction, I think we're just going to fall short. So, yeah. But hey, let's see how it goes. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, if one team can do the unthinkable, it's Liverpool Football Club. So, we're allowed to dream. We have that sort of mentality, I guess, as a fan base where, we've gone through so many games where we're the comeback kings in a lot of situations. So yeah, we're allowed to dream until tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Do your prayers. Do what you need to do. Hopefully we go past the line and hopefully get the win. So just going to read some comments before I wrap up the show. So, and for Uncle Roz, big up yourself, Uncle Roz. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning. Arsenal out, Man City out. Yes, I didn't. I was watching the Man City game live. So yeah, good to see Arsenal out 3-2. Considering Bayern Munich have been in such terrible form, and this is probably Arsenal's strongest team in the last 15, 20 years, whatever you want to call it, they still weren't able to get the job done. So yeah, shame for Arsenal fans. I've been shameless against Arsenal fans this week. So yeah, it is what it is. And Man City, yeah, they lost out on penalties. By the way, that Bernardo Silva penalty is probably the worst penalty I've ever seen in my life. It wasn't even like he was trying to dink the effort. He literally passed it to the keeper like they were doing training. Like, when you train the keeper to catch the ball, that's what it felt like watching. So bizarre penalty. I don't know what he was thinking. Yeah, I think he had the eye off the ball, to be fair. But yeah. And for Uncle said, God is good. Yes, he is indeed. And then GTV Football Channel says, big up, Bob. Big up yourself, G. Thank you for your comment and thank you for tuning in as well. And Daz, positive as ever. It says 4-0. I think if he goes strongest, he will go strongest. I believe so. But I don't know. I just feel like such a big task. There's not an. I know. I uploaded the photo of us beating them 5-0 a few years ago, but it's a different team. They beat Napoli 3-0 a few weeks ago. So it's a team that are capable of winning. The team are capable of losing or conceding a lot of goals as well. So it's going to be an interesting game regardless. But yeah, I would love for us to win because this is a trophy I really want Klopp to win because it's the missing piece. I don't know if it happens, to be brutally honest with you. But hey, let's see how it goes, Daz. And GTTV, Football Channel says, I think we fall short as well, to be honest, but we'll win on the night. Yeah, I've gone for that as well, G. I think we'll win on the night, but it'll just be too much for us to get over the line. You know, we've won through games where we were 3-0 down. Obviously, Barcelona comes to mind in terms of recent matches. But it doesn't always work like that, unfortunately. So, look, I'm excited. I'm pumped up for it. But yeah, I have to give you the realist in terms of my opinion. I agree with you in terms of I think we'll win, but we'll fall short, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. But look, game's taking place tomorrow, so we have a lot to look forward to. So yes, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Big up to GTV Football Channel, Daz and Uncle Ross for your comment. Appreciate your participation as always, guys. Now, in terms of upcoming shows, yeah, no rest for the wicked. I've got 3 shows lined up for you guys tomorrow. So the first show is a watch along of this game, Atalanta versus Liverpool. So I'll be on 10 to 8 as it's an 8 o'clock UK time kickoff. Then we'll have a match reaction show scheduled for 10:30, but obviously may change depending on the outcome. You know, maybe Liverpool make it 3-3 and there's extra time and penalties. Who knows? But obviously the timing of the second and third show will change based on that. And after the match reaction show, which is also a calling show, by the way, guys. So after that, we'll follow up with the match preview of Fulham versus Liverpool in the Premier League this Sunday. So that show will be scheduled tomorrow after the match reaction at 11:30 p.m. based on the outcome of the Liverpool game. So best thing to do is hit that notification bell so you're aware of what time we'll be going live. Also, follow me on social media for all the latest updates. You can follow me at OZZIE'S on Twitter/X, and you can also follow me on Aussie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. So, as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all tomorrow evening on match day. Do your prayers, fingers crossed, we get the job done. Goodbye, guys.